Welcome into episode 2 of the ABCCL Alumni Series podcast. Our second guest is Cole Hansen, a pitcher for Seton Hall. Cole, how's the season going so far?
Pretty good. We're in a good spot in the Big East and looking to stay in the tournament and make a run in it.
Awesome. So obviously you started initially out at Rutgers but transferred to Seton Hall. So how's your first year kind of been with the Pirates, kind of getting used to the new team and playing for a different New Jersey college baseball team?
It's been a little bit of an adjustment period just for anyone going to a new school. But I'm fortunate everyone in the locker room has kind of been pretty open to me, and they're all pretty friendly with me, and I'm pretty grateful for that.
So obviously you got into baseball somehow. How did you get into baseball, and at what age in your childhood did you start kind of loving the sport of baseball?
I started playing baseball when I was probably 5 or 6. Playing like t-ball in my town. My dad got me into it. He was kind of a big factor in me getting into baseball. He would be the one throwing me, playing catch for me. So that's kind of when I was just doing it all the time. So I got into it pretty quickly.
And then you're a pitcher in college. Have you always been a pitcher, or if not, what positions have you played kind of throughout your travel ball and rec league careers?
I've always kind of been a pitcher. I've always been better at that, and I've always kind of sucked at hitting. So that's kind of how I got into it. But I did play a little bit of first my senior year of high school, and I played some third throughout high school and a little bit of travel ball.
So the fact that you've always been a pitcher, growing up in the New Jersey area, I don't know if you're a Mets or Yankees fan or Phillies or whatever, but is there a player that you kind of modeled your pitching windup after or taken after just by watching them?
Not necessarily. I am a Yankees fan though, and I do really enjoy watching kind of the big frontline guys pitch. Just watching someone who has it all kind of figured out, 4+ pitches with plus velo. I do enjoy watching that. But motion wise, I wouldn't say that I've modeled my motion after one specific person, but I do think I have aspects of like certain people. I got kind of the shorter, like straight back arm action. I know Shane Bieber has one, and Lucas Giolito have that shorter arm action. So that's kind of, if people were to look at my motion, that's probably what they would say.
You mentioned that you were a pitcher a lot in high school, and now you're a pitcher at Seton Hall. Do you ever still take BP, trying to hit some dukes in BP?
The last time I swung a bat was probably this past summer. I do enjoy just like hitting front toss, but if there's any kind of velo or mixing it in with batting practice, I start looking pretty stupid.
That happens. So you mentioned summer ball. You played in the ABCCL with the Monsoons back in 2021. What did you kind of just take from the ABCCL experience that you're trying to put into your college season this year and continue on to next year?
I was fortunate. I played with Coach Mondelli for the Monsoons, and he was very accommodating with my schedule, so I was able to throw, kind of on my routine. Now being, I've been a starter in college this year, and I've done some long relief, so just kind of figuring out a routine and, how do I set my throwing up so I'm always ready to go on the same day every week. I think that was something big for me that I really had to do that year in high school, my senior year, and then that whole summer playing with the Monsoons.
Yeah. And then obviously, as I mentioned before, you played for Rutgers, and now you played for Seton Hall. You're a New Jersey kid from Montgomery. What moment was it, whether it was at Rutgers or Seton Hall, that kind of where it sunk in, where you were playing Division I baseball on the collegiate level, and it just kind of sunk in that you've kind of reached that milestone in your career?
It didn't really sink in for me until actually this opening week. Because I didn't play it all last year. I redshirted, so this year was my first collegiate outing, and we opened up at UNC. So I think being out there on a weekend was kind of like, all right, this is kind of the top end of college baseball. Like, this is what Division I baseball is.
And then just a question about what pitches do you throw on a consistent basis?
I try four seam, changeup, and slider, and I'm trying to add or work in more of a vertical curveball, a little bit slower. But right now, I'd say a true 3-pitch mix.
Okay. And then in crunch time, I guess what pitch, like 0-2 or 3-2, bases loaded, what pitch do you go into in crunch time that you feel the most comfortable to go with?
I'm honestly probably going to throw a slider just because, I mean, a lot of my former teammates and my teammates now will all tell you that. It's like I'm kind of setting you up to, I just want to go to a slider almost all the time.
Was there a specific moment that you can remember that that you used the slider maybe to get somebody out and that makes you feel the most comfortable to go to it?
This past summer, actually, I was playing in the Hamptons League with a couple of my former Rutgers teammates, guys in my class, and the guy actually catching me at the time was one of my really good friends from Rutgers, and it was a 3-2 count in like the seventh inning, 2 outs, and it was bases overloaded, and I was like, I got to get this guy out. He came out and he was like, just tell me what pitch you want to throw. I said slider, and he kind of looked at me funny, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw a slider. And I ended up getting him, but it was just one of those moments where I was like, all right, I have confidence in, this pitch.
And then obviously in high school, there's no pitch clock. Now in college and in the pros, there's starting to be a pitch clock. Was it any sort of adjustment for you kind of having to now deal with that aspect of the game, having to make sure you don't get a pitch clock violation?
For me, I've actually never had a problem with a pitch clock violation. I've always worked fast. So it kind of works in my favor where if a hitter's trying to work really slow and kind of take a walk, like the umpire's telling him, hey, look, like you got to get in here. Because, I mean, this guy's ready to go on the mound. So I haven't had a problem with it. The only real problem, or I haven't had a problem with it, but the only time it would arise is if I'm trying to get a sign on the wristband and it's taking a little while.
You guys use the pitch com at Seton Hall, or you guys do the wristband signaling in?
We don't, we have like this big digital wristband. So it's not like the smaller watch that's digital. It's like a bigger wristband. So it's just kind of got like the pitch, the location, or like our pitching coach, Coach Moran, will put in sometimes like certain cues where he's like fastball up. And if the guy fouls it off, they'll be like fastball higher, like kind of thing. So it's
Nice.
good. He can get the info out to exactly what he wants out to us.
Nice. And then a question I feel like every baseball guy deals with, seeds or gum?
I'm gonna go seeds, just sitting in the bullpen a lot this year and then kind of having to kill time, like some seed connoisseurs in the Seton Hall bullpen. So try and
What are the flavors of choice?
me personally, my buddies will all tell you I'm allergic to flavor. I'm perfectly happy with having original seeds. But I've been getting into some ranch, some of the bacon flavors.
Yeah, definitely back when I was playing high school, I was a ranch or original guy. I've gotten into the Taco Bell as of lately, but they're coming up with all these different flavors now. And then the other, I guess, debate of sorts is the high socks or the long pants. Which one do you go with?
I personally like longer pants. I got skinny legs, so I don't need people seeing my skinny legs with high socks.
That's a good reason for it. Well, thank you again for taking the time and good luck the rest of the season, Cole.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.